So many of you in this room may be fairly familiar with Sean. He's probably pitched you at some point this week, maybe, perhaps. But for those of you who might not be familiar with Adam, you're going to want to be. Here's a little taster. If we can just run a quick video.
Forgot to put this on this morning. Good thing this video is sponsored by Old Spice.
Right, well, big round of applause for Adam, please. Get us in the mood. Get the energy up. So I hope you're wearing your Old Spice today, by the way. It is hot.
I'm actually going around handing it out. There are a lot of people out here that need it.
I can attest that you're wearing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, if you can, it's on. Both armpits.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. So Adam, you get billions of views on YouTube each year. I think one year you were doing like tens of billions of views. I think you're on for that this year too. It didn't start like that. It was sort of humble beginnings. I know that you wanted to be a footballer originally, US football, not my kind.
Real football. I'm just kidding.
And you also wanted to be an actor or break into comedy acting. But doors were sort of shutting in your face at the time. So what made you think, you know what, I'll give this YouTube thing a whirl?
Yeah, I mean, like, I moved to Los Angeles to be an actor. Obviously, it's very tough, very competitive. Everyone's trying to do it. And I was trying to do it for a year and a half, getting nothing. And ultimately, you know, as an actor, as somebody in entertainment, like, if no one gives you a chance, you have to make your own opportunity, right? And that's exactly what I did. And started out with 40, 50 people following me, just my family, really, and friends. And
what were you posting, sorry?
At that time, I was just posting, like, pictures and stuff. Well, I didn't get on YouTube till 2015, and I think, like, especially on YouTube, it was kind of tough at first to, you know, if you've never created something, it's really tough to figure out. I feel like there's so much education out there now on how to create, but, you know, back then, to make something, acting is one thing, but to produce something, direct it, edit it, come up with the idea, actually go shoot it, it's a tough thing. So once I started doing it, I started to learn so much, and I was posting probably for a year getting no viewership at all. And it wasn't until I really honed in on the craft and perfected it that I was able to start pretty much growing overnight. But I think it's just the consistency and like the literally learning. Teach. I would literally just Google how do you shoot, how do you edit, and I would.
It's so much easier now with AI, right?
Yeah. Well, now I just go in Gemini. How do you shoot? How do you know? But yeah, I think now it's a lot easier, and there's so much more case studies, so many more influencers. This is like, imagine 15 years ago, there wasn't that many creators in the world.
Mm-hmm. And who's your audience?
It's pretty diverse. I mean, I'd say my biggest demo is like 18 to 24, but very global, like all over, I think, and that's by design. A lot of stuff that I do is super visual, so I have a rule every time I film or create a video is you have to be able to understand this video on mute. So, like, if you can't understand it on mute, I won't post it. And then the audio, for me, just enhances it.
Mm-hmm. And you're quite prolific. You post, what, like every other day? Something
every other
like
day,
that?
no matter what.
How do you do that and manage to, you know, have a life?
I'm barely doing it, and I don't have a life. No, I mean, I have a great team that I've built over the years. At one point, I was posting every single day for like 5 years, and then switched over to every other day. But I truthfully still love it. I think like I'm just so passionate about it. You know, it's not necessarily about how much money I'm making or, you know, the fame that comes with it. I truly love making content and making people laugh. So I think that's the only reason I've been doing it for this long.
Ask him how many times he's posted this week in Cannes.
Twice.
Have YouTube been keeping you busy? Is that why they've been parading you out? You haven't had enough time?
No, I always get it done. I'm always going to get the post done no matter what. No matter how busy I am, it's the #1 priority for me.
And just talking about like the prolificness, having to create constantly in order to gain attention, in order to build your following. Sean, sorry, is that something you think about at YouTube for creators? I mean, it's no secret that, you know, the creator burnout trend is something that's been spoken about a lot. But how do you feel about how that's evolving, particularly as people are posting short form content on shorts and long form? They're advancing to different platforms. Is that something that's kind of top of mind?
I think we like the creators to build their cultures and their communities as organically as they think they should. I think what people do is they resonate with people like Adam W. They want to take part in his culture, and he gets a sense from the community like how often he really needs to put content up there. And we have a lot of creators that are posting every day. We have a lot of creators that are posting every 2 weeks, and I think they just know what's right because they're so in tune with their community. And what they really do is they're just creating little subcultures. And I think that's the most impressive thing about the creator economy is that they are so in tune with a certain demographic or a certain subculture that they speak their language and they kind of lead the trends. And then as much as that community engages with them, you see the creators engage back. And I just like to see the back and forth more so than I care anything about, like, is it every day or every other week? It's like, is that a healthy, vibrant community that has a lot of trust?
And how much do you lean in as a platform with your creators? Are you kind of becoming a little bit more like managers?
Managers is probably a strong word, but I would say maybe I'm his football manager because I did help you fulfill your football dream. You scored 2 touchdowns in the Creator Classic.
It was 3.
At the Super Bowl. 3.
3 touchdowns.
Excuse me.
And 1 interception.
3.
It's not a big deal.
We have a vested interest in making sure creators are successful. Like the lifeblood of YouTube is the creator. Right? This is a place where people come to learn things, to be entertained, to find people that are just like them, and it has its own soul. And that's driven by people like Adam W. So we want them to be successful. We want them to be a place where they can find their community. I want him to make a lot of money. I want him to be successful. So we want to make sure we do a few things. One is we have a platform that's open and free. They can put whatever they want on there. They can really have their voice. I want to make sure that they have the ability to create at scale. So you see a lot of the activities we have with all the tooling to help you be a producer without having to have a production studio. And then, of course, I want him to know as many advertisers as possible because that's going to help him build his business. But it also helps my brands build their business. And I think there's a really complete synergy there between the two of them.
And you're definitely stepping up in terms of the kind of like the creator matching tools that you're offering. And I know we won't go too much into it, but you are announcing a few more of those today, more on the kind of technology side, where you're kind of matchmaking brands with creators. I guess my question to you at YouTube, I mean, you've got like UTA with their huge beach over there. You have all of these kind of like influencer agencies whose sole job is to make those creators money and partner with them with brands. And now you've got YouTube telling me, like, you need to go and work with this guy and this guy and this guy. Like, where does YouTube sort of fit in that mix?
Well, we're the platform. So our job is to make sure all those folks that you mentioned have the information they need to match Adam and other creators with a brand. So a big part of our announcement structure is just giving a simple API to exactly the people that you mentioned. We want to partner with the influencer market agency. We want to partner with all the tooling because those companies are going to go out and find out what's the best fit for Adam. Or if I'm Anheuser-Busch, what's the best fit for me? So we want to give them all the insights, all the trends, all the folks that maybe are talking about their brand, and just feed them that information. I'm not so much invested in doing scaled matching one-to-one because we're going to create the tooling for it, and I think that's the most effective way to do it, and that ecosystem is fantastic, and I want to make sure they have the right information to do so.
So is it more, so what is it then? Is it more white glove or is it more sort of like programmatic in terms of the matching creators with advertisers?
We do a little bit of both. YouTube is a unique platform. It has every length. You have long form, you have short form. You can tell your story in almost any way. And we have premier creators that want to work with certain brands. And it's easy for us to match them because we talk to Adam and I talk to a lot of the brands and I can say, you guys are a great fit. Why don't you go spend some time together? And we certainly facilitate that through events, through networking, through introductions. But that only gets you so far because many of our brands want to have 1,000 creators, right? So if you're going to have a couple of tentpole folks that really know your brand, I'll help you with that. If you want to get to the 1,000, I'm going to create a lot of tooling and a lot of information so you can start to develop that on your own.
And clearly, like, you guys know each other quite well. You've obviously worked quite closely with YouTube over the years. Is there anything YouTube could be doing better?
Let me move over a second. No, I honestly, like, YouTube, I think one of the greatest things about them, they have a partner rep program with creators, and it's so helpful. Like, if I have an issue with one of my videos, I can text my partner rep at midnight, 2 a.m. I mean, and a lot of creators like, this is your livelihood. This is like, I eat, sleep, and breathe these videos. So like when something goes wrong, when something's not working, you want to get an answer right away. And I think the YouTube team has been so great at that.
So who would you text first? Like your manager, your agent,
I have a partner
YouTube,
rep, yeah.
your partner rep?
And also too, like, kind of piggyback on what Sean said, like, I think the difference between YouTube and a lot of other platforms is how I look at it is like you have more of a community on YouTube. On other platforms, you have followers, right? And they're more passive and maybe they're not as in tune. But on YouTube, your subscribers show up. They show up. And I think also having the ability to have the diversity in the content in which you post. Like, you could post long form. You can't even post long form on other platforms. Like, you can post long form. You can go live. You can do short form content. There's just so many tools built in YouTube in general that just allow you as a creator to peel back the layers with your audience in whatever capacity you want to do. So I feel like it really differentiates itself from like the Instagrams and TikToks of the world.
Okay, so you're at a festival full of marketers. How do you like to work with brands?
I think, when you work with brands, I think the biggest thing, at least from my end, is like the brand understanding that it's a two-way street and it's not like, hey, here's what we want you to do and you do it. It's a collaboration. And obviously, there's always gonna be pushback, right? Like, I'm not gonna get to do exactly what I want to do, and I'm not gonna do exactly what the brand wants to do. And it's meeting in the middle. And ultimately, that is what makes a brand deal successful, right? Like, it's not just about the budget you're getting. I don't want to upset my audience, right? So I want to do something that still is me, still creative, but at the same time, having the brand in there and people obviously knowing that it's a brand and sponsor post. So I think it's just bridging the gap between knowing that it's not a work for hire, it's not a one-way street, and it's just more of a collaboration.
This is a really interesting dynamic that's developing. Like, the reason to work with creators on YouTube is because brands need to be a part of the culture. Like, it's really hard for a brand to show up on YouTube or anywhere in this day and age and be the sole voice of their product. I mean, we used to live in a world where 75% of the voice was the brands. And when you think about today's consumer, they have these platforms like YouTube that they're getting their information and their opinions and their culture from other places, these creators. So the job is for a brand to fit into that culture and participate in it, not rewrite it. And what we discovered working with creators and brands is that the creative process is much different than it was 4 or 5 years ago. People run a lot of experiments, and they used to hand him a script. And when he spends his life in an authentic voice talking about what is important to him or making a funny joke about Old Spice, that is what his viewers expect. They resonate with that. They find it funny. They comment on it. They give him ideas. And when he shows up and he gives the pitch points, the 3 things that the brand's supposed to stand for, that is inauthentic and it's sniffed out immediately.
I mean, has that ever happened? Have you, like in your kind of earlier years, did you ever take a deal that you wish, I wish I'd not done that?
Not really, to be honest. Like, even when I
Ka-ching,
started,
ka-ching, fine.
when I first started, I think like the first year where I like desperately needed the money, I didn't even want to do brand deals because I just felt like I was selling out to my audience. And it wasn't until I figured out like how to organically do it where, if I did something with T-Mobile, like I would do the funniest idea about cell phone service, which everybody has a problem with cell phone service. There's so much relatability in it. And then I would backdoor T-Mobile as, the best carrier to use. And whether you like T-Mobile or not, it was funny enough for you to still share. It was still relatable enough for you to share. So like the first year I actually was getting viewership and subscribers, I refused to do brand deals.
Tell them how many views you got on the non-paid Old Spice ad. You did that one on your own, not the one they showed, but you did another one that you just did because you wanted to. How many views did you get?
Oh, yeah, that video did 217 million views, and it was like no boosting, nothing, just organic.
That is
That's a
dream
missed
come true.
moment.
That's a dream come true for Mark.
For them.
He loves that. So what someone like Mark learns from that is if I give them the brief that it's open-ended and I want you to talk about my product in your environment, they get the magic that they're looking for because that brand already exists in the culture, so you have to let it be uncovered, right? And then you can start to boost it, and they can go train him on the 2 or 3 points that they want him to incorporate, and he'll do it in his way. That's the formula that a lot of our brands are doing, because when they stop trying to control the message so overtly, they get really good magic. And when they have those, they get much better performance. Like if we're lining up a creator ad next to a normal brand advertisement, they're 2-3x more effective on average on any measure, whether it's an effectiveness measure, whether it's an awareness measure with reach. It gets more views, it gets better return, and they get the better outcomes that they want. And they become a part of culture and create new fans of their brand, which is really impressive because they've leveraged your voice.
That's sort of kind of, it's really helpful instructionally, but I guess I'm sort of interested in if there are any pain points that you have, Adam, with brands where they make the process too long, they become a bit heavy-handed. Like, any tips you can give for the people out here? Because if you're producing 2 pieces of content a day, you don't have time for the back and forths and the A/B testing and the whatever. You're moving on to the next thing, the next idea, the next joke, the next Cannes Lion kind of thing. What can brands do better?
I think what kills a lot of brand deals in terms of viewership is like a lot of times a brand will ask you to say 20 things in the first 10 seconds, and it's like, oh, you're gonna scroll right away. No one's watching that, right? And it's so much better if you can do like a 5-second hook of something that doesn't necessarily like blast the brand in your face to get people like hooked to watch, and then hit the brand points maybe 10 seconds in, 12 seconds in. Obviously, I know retention drops, but when you're saying like 50 things in the first 5 seconds, like no one's gonna watch that. Or unless like, for example, Old Spice does a great job of, if you are going to mention it's a brand deal, comedically doing it or being very obvious about it. So like, in an Old Spice video, like in the first 5 seconds, was like, hey, this is sponsored, obviously, you know? Like, and it's like a joke in the audience, so I was like, okay, at least he's admitting it and he's a part of it and he's letting us know. Versus like, you have all this text overlay on the video and you're saying like, you know, all these branded lines that I've never said, these words I don't even know. And then people are gonna scroll, right? So I think not being so aggressive on like having all these branded lines in the first 10 seconds, let the video cook for a little bit, let people get tuned in, and then they get hit with the ad.
Has anyone put you in brand school yet?
In brand school?
Yeah, like the brand trained you on the brand. Have you done that?
Yeah, I mean,
This is a trend.
yeah, I think like creator briefs are really tough to read. That's another thing, but usually when you hop on the call with the brand, it's a lot easier to kind of just work it out and talk it through. So yeah, some creator briefs are pretty rough.
What's brand school? Just
Well,
explain,
this
Sean.
is something I'm seeing across a lot of brands right now is because they don't want to be overly specific in the brief, but they still want the creator to understand the essence of the brand so they can get it across. They train them like a brand manager. So they'll start to like...
Is that a good thing?
Well, they're educating them on the product, what's good about it, what they like, and they're hoping they retain anything that they put into the video versus giving them the points. And he's going to pull out what he wants, but he's going to understand how they're thinking about the brand positioning. I've seen a lot of the packaged goods companies do this because they're just trying to get every brand to be understood because they want it to show up in everyday life. And like, if I just invest in a little education with the creator, then I don't have to do as big a brief. And I think that's worked for a lot of people. Others just say, here's my product, please go talk about it because I trust you. Others start to seed organically what they want the culture to be with their own content, and then a creator picks up on it because they resonate with it. So you get a bunch of different mixes, but it's more about just making sure people understand what their brand is really about.
And what's the conversation? So that's the conversation at the beginning of the partnership. What do you do once the video lands? Like, how does that continue? And also, how would you like it to continue?
Are you saying after I post it? Or
Yeah, so after you post, like, how do you sort of maintain that relationship? Do you want to? Do they come in and say, do more? Like, how does it tend to work?
Yeah, ultimately, I mean, like, the results matter, right? How much viewership, how much conversion happens, all the metrics that brands follow. But I think, like, from a creator perspective, it's so important that when you work with a brand, it's your resume, right? Like, if you have a successful brand deal that does a lot of viewership, that's a high-quality video that's produced really well, the brand's always going to want to come back, right? So I think probably more of a note for creators is like really putting effort in, not only spending the money that they're giving you on the piece of content, but also spending the effort creatively, right? And at the same time, too, I don't want my audience to be upset, right? I don't want to just post an ad where they're like, he clearly got paid for this, right? So I think putting in all that effort, you know, it really makes you stand out to the brand, and, you know, ultimately that is what gets the great result. And brands always want to come back and work more. And, you know, there's been, you know, you probably hear a lot of panels where creators and brands are asking to do more long-term partnerships, but even with that too, right? You still have to experiment with the creator and see if the marriage works, right? Like if the brand got the result they wanted, if the creator, their audience, took it in and they were okay with it, and once that happens, then you can talk about a longer-term deal. But obviously it's based off results.
And it's the relationship too at the end of the day, right? It's the relationship that you have with the team. I'm afraid we're all out of time. I could stay here all day chatting to you both. Thank you so much, Adam and Sean.
For having us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us again at our CMO Insider Breakfast. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Sport Beach for helping putting this on. We really appreciate having you here. Please check out businessinsider.com, all our great work. Thank you.